What's going on, guys? Cam Dasani here. I'm here with one of my lead traders, JJ. He has a liquid net worth of $300,000. He's 19 years old, and he just bought a house cash for 200K. No mortgage, no financing. Dude, I'm glad to have you here in LA at the crib, and I just wanted to kind of share you with the audience and pick your brain and talk about trading and really just start off with like your background and how you got started with all this shit.
Appreciate you for having me, Cam. Like you said, I'm 19 years old, so I am on the young side, but I have been trading for about 3 years. The way I started trading, you have to be 18 years old to legally trade in America, but I made a prop firm under my mom's name when I was 16. Shout out mom, she doesn't know this, but I made a prop firm with a futures account under her name, and I gotta say I was not very good at first. It took me probably a few years of messing around, and the thing is that so when you don't really know what you're doing when you're trading, it's technically gambling. But when you gamble, sometimes you win, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would see that, and I would trade a lot. I would try my hardest, and I would always blow the accounts, lose, but sometimes I would win. So that like sense of knowing that it is possible to make money, because I did have some days where I would make an insane amount of money, even though I was losing. It made me want to take it more serious, if that makes sense. I was like, there is money in this clearly, because I have days where I'm in the green, however amount. And just because I'm not good enough to make it sustained, I really I think it's still something there. So I took trading more serious. I changed my whole lifestyle around. I wouldn't say revolved my whole life around trading, but I tried to live a very healthy lifestyle where I could be very focused on one thing, which the one thing was trading. And you can ask anyone who knew me. I spent ages 17 through 18 basically in my room on the charts, back testing, doing things like that. And the way I would say I'm a lot different than a lot of other traders is, a lot of traders, they go and they like look for already created strategies, where there's something wrong with that, because if it works, it works. But what really made me different and made me stand out is I actually spent tons of hours on the chart, whereas I could make my own strategy and my own confluences and things like that that worked for me. And just because your favorite YouTuber, TJR, or whoever quote unquote says that this strategy works, you can't be a sheep. At the end of the day, you have to go figure it out for yourself. You got to go really test it yourself and figure out what really works. And that is what really worked for me, getting off my behind and making stuff actually happen, putting in some actual work, things like that.
Yeah, no, all of that makes total sense. And the reality is, in order to even get good at everything you're saying, if you're starting from scratch and not following other people, it is going to take years of
Mm-hmm.
time, right? Like you're not just going to like 1 month just become the greatest.
Trust me, trust me. I wish I had a mentor that actually knew what they were talking about when I first started trading. That would have by backtracked me, or would have set me forward so much.
Yeah.
It would have skipped me years of time. But like I said, I had to figure it out on my own and things like that. But if anything, I feel like that just makes me a more seasoned and experienced trader. That's like someone that, is just given to it. If someone that's given their fortune, didn't make it, you know what I mean? But someone
Yeah.
who earned it. I know it's necessarily not the same thing, but I wasn't handed. I worked a lot. I bled a lot through this market, and the market has taken a lot, but the market has given way more eventually with the hard work that I put in.
And something you mentioned as well is the prop firms, right? Where people, most like everyday people that are walking around out there, whether they're traders or not. I mean, even some traders don't even know
Yeah.
that like prop firms exist. Like people have come to me with 200 grand and they're like, "Hey, I want you to manage my 200 grand." And I'm like, "Well, why don't we just get you prop firm funding?" And they
Yeah.
didn't even know what that was. So you had the benefit of learning without
Hmm.
actually risking your own capital, which I think people don't understand is an even existing thing that can happen, right? So like, guys, if you're new here, understand that one of the things that we do in our mentorship is we actually help you get prop firm capital. And the goal of that is so you can figure things out without risk of using your hard earned cash. Now, even better, like he said, finding a mentor, right?
Exactly.
He is one of the mentors in our group, which is crazy because he spent 3 years realizing that he should have gotten a mentor, right? And that's something that
And
you
now
talk
I
about.
now I am the mentor.
And now you are the mentor, right?
So
Go ahead.
if you guys want to get rich, if you guys want to just sit there and drink your coffee and make money every single morning without putting in any hard work, that's when you follow people like us. But if you guys want to go bleed and sweat and lose hours and probably tears, money, blood, like all of this stuff, because you're not following people like us and you want to go do it yourself, go on and go do that. That's all you. There's nothing wrong with doing that. That's the path that I took. But the only reason I took that path is because I had no one. Trading was a relatively new game back then, especially prop firms. So I didn't really have anyone like the group that we put together
Yeah.
to come and help me out. But if
Yeah.
I did have that, I definitely would have. It would have helped a lot.
How much time do you think you would have saved?
Probably like so. I treated it like a job, guys. So this is what I like. I like one of my favorite analogies is trading is like the NBA and the NFL. And what I mean by this is the reason that those people get paid the most, they get paid so much money, is because they are the best at what they do. How are they the best at what they do? They put in time and they put in work and things like that. They put in blood, sweat, and tears. Just like anything in life, if you're not going to practice, you're not going to be good at it. So you wouldn't go to the 24-hour fitness and see Steph Curry and LeBron James there working out and just hop in and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna come work out." You're gonna get on a body. You're gonna get on a poster. It's not gonna work out for you. Just like how an average normal retail trader who just learned what trading was yesterday and they just downloaded their broker, they shouldn't come and try to compete with the big dogs and the institutions because you're going to get crushed. You're not an NFL level player. You got to stick to the high school leagues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
God.
I just think, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort that you got to
Hmm.
put into trading.
And the reality is, like, prop firms in general only fund the top 1% of
Exactly. Yeah, I was
traders
going to
statistically.
talk more about that.
So you worked your ass off to become the
Can't
top
find it.
1%. And I even asked, our other traders, right? I'm like, guys, like, when people think this is too good to be true, it's just that the work that it needs to happen to become a top 1% trader, if you try to do it without mentorship, it's just going to be really hard to the point where you give up. And he just didn't happen to give up, right?
Yeah,
Now, even for me personally, I wouldn't have gone on the same path as you.
almost gave up.
And you probably almost gave up multiple times, right? The reality is, what we've created is, like you said, don't compete with the institutions. Okay, well, our head trader above you, Mehul Patel, built an algorithm for Goldman Sachs. This was 5 years ago. Okay, now he's built his own algorithm and he trades his own money and he trades, um, he consults for all of our clients and he helps us kill it, right? And I'm a partner in the business with him as well as JJ because we are here to basically help you guys shortcut this path. Because the reality is, if most of you try to do this on your own, you will give up. But if you do this with us, it's literally 1 to 2 months of demo trading until you are good enough to just copy us. That's why earlier when JJ's talking about, oh, you can find your own strategies, but that is going to take so much time where you might as well copy someone who's at the top of his game, who's literally gathered access to $3 million in prop firm capital. And that proves that he is top 1% because very, very few people on the planet are able to get prop firms to give them that much money, let alone trade it profitably.
And I can tell you guys can go try to find your own strategies and things like that. I'll tell you right now why our strategies work, because we've mechanically back tested them. And this is something that not a lot of retail traders have access to. This is kind of an institutional trader thing because like the average Joe wouldn't really have average access to this. But we have mechanically back tested for over 10 years to 20 years of data. And what this means, if you guys don't know what back testing is, that's basically going back in time and looking at if your strategy works. And most people do this manually. They go through and they'll manually do it. But you can only do it'll take I used to manually back test. It would literally take an hour to do like a month worth of back testing. But with me, I can automatically backtest with the click of a button back to 20 years. And the reason that this is really important is because it's helped us refine our strategy and it's helped us be able to make a quick change and see that, oh, over the past 20 years, we would have made an extra 10% if we would have just changed this one little small thing about our strategy. And what this also gives us is this also gives us proven scientific edge, which the rest of you guys don't have. If you're just making a strategy out there, even if you do paper trade it for a month, just because you paper trade it for a month and it works does not mean you actually have edge. You guys need to learn about market regimes and there's different volatility levels, different like things going on the market. We're in a bull market, we're in a bear market, we could be in a neutral market. And does your strategy perform in each and every single one of those markets? That's what you probably don't know because you just haven't been seasoned enough, you haven't weathered the storm enough to be able to see that. And the thing about our strategies is, like we said, we tested them over 20 years of data and they have outperformed the market by multiples of 5 or more consistently throughout every single market regime. And what this means is that even in bear markets, or like in 2008, or even recently when Donald Trump crashed the market with the tariffs and the market went down thousands of points in a day, that was one of my best days trading in history. I remember, Cameron, I sent you a photo that day, and I said, we're in a recession. What recession? I sent him a picture of me making 10K in one single day, and this is the truth, because no matter what the market regime is, our strategies work. So this is what I want to talk about. Day trading is a lot different than investing. Investing, you'll have the ups and the downs, but you can't capitalize on the downs. It's always going to hurt you. So with day trading, we can capitalize daily, no matter on how the market's moving. The market's moving up or down, we're still making money every single day. So it turns it from passive investing into basically a cash flow machine. And what I don't understand about people is, if you told people that you could guarantee them a 50% return on their money within 20 years, they would say yes. What if I told you I could give you 50% this month?
And then people will say it's too good to be true,
It's too
but the
good to be true.
reality is, like, and when, I love that word, or that saying, it's too good to be true, because the reality is, okay, Ferraris sell for 200 grand, 250. Something that's too good to be true has to be able to afford that, because
Yeah.
who in the right mind would spend 200 grand on a car?
They've
Well,
been in business for 20 years.
they've been
Fact
making
check me.
so much money that the reality is 200 grand ain't shit. So the things that you think are too good to be true are done by people like that. So that's why when I was coming up, whenever I saw somebody driving a Porsche 911, a Ferrari California, a Lamborghini Aventador, whatever cars you like, I walked up to them and I would say, "Hey guy, like, what do you do?" And some people would say this, tech. Some people would say trading. Some people would say et cetera, real estate. There's money to be made in everything. But the reality is, there are different paths that can get you to certain numbers sooner. And the thing with trading, and I want you to speak on this a little bit, we trade futures between 9 to 11 a.m. EST. That is the window in which we make our money. So if you want to make 300 grand a year, let's just give a number for fun, doing real estate, it's not going to happen by only working between 9 and 11 EST. Whereas with trading, you can, because of two things. One, the skill set that our team has. Two, helping you guys get access to capital to trade with is what gives you leverage to then trade. Big numbers, big profits, big results, big returns. You can't do that in any other vehicle that I know of. My friend has an Airbnb business and makes 300 grand a year,
Mhm.
but he works a lot more than we do. It's just the reality. I
Yeah.
don't know what you want
So,
to say.
so
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite things about trading that I haven't even mentioned yet. It's just the freedom of it. Not only can you only trade for 2 hours during the workday, but trading is a remote business, which means that if I wanted to move to Puerto Rico and pay 0% sales tax and 0% income tax and trade my whole life, I could do that. Hypothetically, I could move anywhere. I could go on vacation. Let's say I'm making $5,000 a day, which for me personally is on a high note, because I'm still honing in my skill. But I said on average I make around $2,000 to $3,000 a day.
Yep.
But that could get me. I could vacation 365 days out of the year.
Yeah.
I can be on vacation permanently and just travel the world and trade remotely,
Yeah.
which is something I'm actually very looking forward to do soon. Once I get a little bit older and settle down a little bit. I'm only 19 years old, but I want to travel the world and trade all around the world, because that is one of my favorite parts about trading. Just the freedom that it brings. And like you said, we only trade from 9 to 11, which is only 2 hours. And sometimes it's less than that. Sometimes I'll log in on 9 o'clock and we'll trade in the first 15 minutes
Done.
and sign off and we're done.
Yeah.
And just like that, I feel good knowing that my day is mine and I am in control of my day. And even though I am young, I do understand how precious time is and how much people would. Time is you will never be able to get
Yeah.
time. You can get money, you can get all these things, but you'll never be able to get your time back. And I feel like day trading is something that really buys you time. And I'm just going to touch
Genuinely.
on one more thing. You guys probably are hearing us talking about all these prop firms and things like that, and you're probably thinking like, oh, well, why can't I just look up online prop firm and trade it myself and make money and get access to the funding capital myself? You know what? I have two answers to that question. My first answer is just to laugh and just let you do that, and just let you let you see how hard that is. My second answer is for you to understand that prop firm trading think about it. A prop firm, they're still a business. They're still at the end of the day making money. And how are they doing this? Is because that 99% of traders fail when they enter prop firms. And if you guys
Yeah.
don't know how prop firms work, it's basically you pay a little bit of amount for this amount of funding,
Yeah.
but you have to be able to pass challenges and tests and stay within their stipulations
Yeah.
and things like that. That's very, very hard to do. I feel like that's even harder to do than trading on a cash live account, which basically is like not prop firms.
Yeah.
Why? They're designed for you to fail. Prop firms are designed for you to fail because
Sure.
they're really hard for you to do that. So if you want to go trade a prop firm by yourself, sure, you can go do that. Or you can come with us. We figured out how to basically work within the stipulations in the rules of a prop firm and make it work for us. So we're not the 99%
Mm-hmm.
funding these people's business. We're the 1% that is working with them to extrapolate capital out of the market.
Yeah. And
So
go well. Yeah. One thing I want to touch on with that, guys. What another thing you have to understand is that a prop firm, like you said, is a business. So when we as traders win with prop firm money, we keep 80%, which is great. The prop firm keeps 20%. So if they give every trader like you that thinks they're going to be the next biggest trader ever because you're going to figure it out on your own from free YouTube videos, cool. But if it was that easy, wouldn't everybody do it? And the reality is, there's people that get on calls with me that get it and they understand that we are a premium service. There are other people that say, I'm going to try it for free and then come back. And guess what? They lose because they haven't spent 8 years trading. They haven't built algorithms for Goldman Sachs. They haven't spent years. He's only 19. He's still spent years since he was 16. That's when you started.
I dedicated my life to it. I
His
didn't just spend years. I dedicated my whole entire life to what I eat, breathe, and sleep day trading, which I don't recommend to do, but I did do it.
And he did it, but that's why he's where he's at 19, right? It's the reason why I'm at where I'm at, right? We are obsessed, but you don't actually even have to be obsessed. You just need to follow winners. I followed winners to get to where I am. I've spent 100 grand plus learning the things that I've learned to be successful as an entrepreneur, to be successful as a trader. My trading team is unmatched. He's one of them. He is living proof. So, what would you say to people that think, um, and this is what's so interesting, right? If you look at like the gym analogy, right?
Mm.
Who do you think has a better fit gym? Like meaning like more people are fit there. Planet Fitness or Equinox?
Equinox. I was like,
What do you
Equinox.
think?
Yeah, Planet Fitness. No.
Right, right. Because who like if you're spending $10 a month to work out,
You're going with the $10 of value. You're gonna
yeah,
go to the
you're
gym
getting
with
ten
$10
dollars
of
a month of
value.
value. You're dealing with $10 an hour bullshit trainers,
Mm-hmm.
and you're dealing with a crowd of people that really aren't that motivated to get in shape. I spend $600 a week on a personal trainer. Okay,
Because it
and
motivates you.
because it motivates me because I have to win now. If I put my money where it is, I can't. Like I don't drink. Okay, I don't eat that many carbs. I don't eat sugar. And it's because I'm trying to look and feel a certain way and perform as an athlete a certain way. Not because I'm trying to be in an NBA, but because I just have fitness goals for myself and I want to play recreational basketball at a high level. That's it. But if I put my money where my mouth is, I will win. If I just get a Planet Fitness membership, I will lose. And that's why I pay $600 a week for a trainer and $300 a month for a premium gym membership. Not Equinox, but a different one, so on and so forth. I used to go to Equinox. The only reason I switched is because I felt like a different gym had more of what I wanted. And yeah, what would you say to
Equinox,
that? What would you
Texas.
say to like premium? Like realistically, if you pay premium, you'll get premium service.
I even think about that for like designer guys. Like, so like, I'm a big designer guy. I used to be a big designer guy. I've moved out of like the flashy stuff. I like more like subtle stuff now. But a $500 Louis Vuitton shirt is going to be an insanely better quality than a $20 Nike shirt. Even though there's nothing wrong with either of them, but sometimes like after one wash, the Nike shirt it's like has strings falling apart. It's falling apart. But I've never had any of that problem with my Louis Vuitton shirt. Why?
Mm,
Because I paid the premium for the Louis Vuitton shirt to get the better product. Therefore, even if it's not worth the $500 for the print or whatever,
yeah,
it's still premium quality materials that's going to
yeah,
perform better.
yeah. The same way, even me. Like I like black tees from True Classic because they hold, right? And they're a little more expensive than like a Hanes t-shirt, right? They don't have a polo horse on them, but honestly, even True Classic, I think the quality's better than polo. To me, they last longer, right? So it's all about what you want. A lot of people can argue with his point and be like, "Oh yeah, but designers all a waste of money." That's not the point. The point is when you pay premium, typically you are going to get premium service and premium results as opposed to free. Like this guy told me the other day, bro. He was like, you know what, Cam, everything you're saying is great. I have the money to invest, boom, 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 boom. But I'm going to try to figure it out with these free streamers. And I said, interesting. So let me ask you this. Do you think if a streamer is actually good at trading, is he giving away all his sauce for free? He did, and it was a little too high for his aptitude to understand. And I was like, bro, like, why would I trust someone that wants to give me all the game for free? It makes no sense.
Let me touch on that a little bit more too. So we're gonna get a little bit into more about how I've mechanically back tested and about things like that. But I basically built my own trading algorithm, right? And I had a dude ask me. He was like, "Would you sell it for $10,000?" I said, "Hell no. Why would I sell you something for $10,000 that prints me $10,000 a week? That shit, like, that doesn't make sense. Why? Because mine is real. I'm not just out here streaming on TikTok showing you guys things for free. Why would I do that? If my sauce is real, which I do have real sauce, I'm not going to give it out for free. And that's why you got to be skeptical. You really have to be skeptical in life about anything. You can never be a sheep. You really have to do free thinking.
And hold on that point. What is your skepticism towards a $20,000 a year service? You should actually be more skeptical about the person that's giving it out for free. Because in your mind, you're thinking, oh, well, there's nothing to lose. Yeah, there is time. Time that he spent 3 years to develop the skill set that now we charge 20 grand a year for.
Yeah, why would I give you that for free?
And that's even low. Sense. If we're making 10 grand a week, the only reason we charge 20 grand a year is because it's just an entry point to make you realize that this is so real. So then next year you renew, right? And trust me, in software companies, ask around. People charge a discount on the first year and charge higher premium the second year. Example, 20 grand year one, 40 grand year two. Because if I've made you 300,000, why wouldn't you pay 40 grand? But you think some streamer on the internet is going to change your life for free? I've never heard a story of somebody saying, yeah, man, this guy just gave me all the fucking game in the world for free. Even me to learn trading.
You think game then?
It can't be game. You think like, bro, even Mahul, like, we have a deal. The reason I'm a partner in the business is because I brought him so much value in other ways that he brought value to me. Same thing with me and you. That's how we built this company, because we offered value to each other. Whereas people want to come in our DMs and say things like, yeah, man, well, can I do a free trial? It's like, bro, do you even have 5 grand? Because what happens after $5? Because what happens after the free trial? Are you actually investing, or were you just kicking rocks the whole time? Yeah. Which is why we don't do nonsense like that. So every now and then you'll see me do a giveaway. But the reality is, if you want to accept the giveaway, you still have to be qualified, meaning you still need to have some pocket money, or at the bare minimum, a credit score that can get you financing or a business line of credit to then invest in yourself. Now, if you think that's a scam, then why are you going to buy a house one day? Because buying a house means you're literally going to finance the house, unless you're so successful that you can buy it cash like him. So the reality is, you just think it's a scam or it's too good to be true because your brain doesn't think at a high enough level to have that aptitude of comprehension. But the reality is, on a house, you are financing with interest. Oh, but you don't want to pay credit card interest to make 40 grand a month. Okay, you're right. We're too good to be true. Like, just think independently. Don't follow the masses. We are not the masses. That's why we're sitting with $1 million mansion with literally 20 grand on my wrist and 15 on his, and
we have a couple more rollies back there,
and a couple more rollies with boxes behind you that you've seen in our short form content already at this point if you've been paying attention. He has a Porsche. He's 19. Like, couple cars. Fuck me. Like, it can't all be too good to be true. And my challenge for you is this: if it's all too good to be true, what's not too good to be true? Just being average?
Is it too good to be true, or are you just too afraid to take the risk? Are you too afraid to put the work in? Or do you just not see yourself as being able to be capable of being something greater than what you currently are right now? Do you just think that you are going to be, you think that life and society is destined for you to just be average, or a worker, a 9-to-5 worker, what society wants you to be? Because think about it. If you really are a free thinker, what do you think society wants you to be? They put you in school. When you're a kid, they make it a mandate to go to school, and they tell you when they eat, and they tell you when you have breaks. What does that sound like? Does that not sound like a factory 9-to-5 worker to me? It does to me.
Yeah.
But I don't want that. I want to break free.
Free of that mold.
I want to do,
Yeah, and bro, it's funny. Like, when I was 19, I was so much more behind where you're at, and that's why we work together, because you're an inspiration not only to kids your age, But 30-year-olds that are behind, that are like, and when I say behind, I say relatively in the context of maybe you're an accountant who's working a corporate job that you hate, or maybe you're an engineer who's burnt out, or maybe you're a doctor who is in the ER under high pressure situations. And I'm saying these examples because a lot of my clients are these people, right? And they came to me because they were looking for a different way. And this is the different way. This is the best thing that I've found. And I've tried many things. Like, if you're dead fucking broke and you have zero to your name or like $500 to your name, yeah, you first of all, you can't really afford our services, number one. Number two, you don't have enough to even trade your own money. What I would recommend then is getting a better job or a better career so you can save some money to then be able to invest in a higher leverage vehicle like what we have. What we do to do that, just for a side note, is we help you get high ticket sales jobs. I have 30 companies hiring people that are trained by me right now, right? So you can come into that program if you're all the way at the bottom. But if you're already like kind of stable, like you're an accountant, doctor, lawyer, tech guy, whatever it is, you're making good money, this is the path to 2 hours a day of work, location freedom, and more money than you're making right now. It just is. And it's because of two things, like I've said, skill set and network. Some things, guys, that I'm going to say, I'm going to repeat because you need to digest them again and again. Skill set and network is what made me richer than I've ever been and have more time freedom than I've ever had, I should say, and more location freedom than I've ever had. It's just the truth.
I
Anything
mean,
else?
sounds easy. Like, sounds too good to be true. Love
Yeah,
that.
and it
Love that
probably
saying.
is. It
Yeah, it
probably
probably
is, right?
is.
Even though it's all right in front of you. Like, what can we show? We've shown the bank account. I can go get $500,000 out the bank in a month. If you want me to order it, it's just going to take a while for it to come.
I don't know. Is that house back there? Is it CGI?
Is
That
it
it? Is that
AI?
real?
You want me to walk in it with the phone?
Is that a
Again,
green screen?
yeah. Is it Airbnb? I've been here every day, fucking for a month, like for 2 months,
I mean,
for 3 months, for
if it
four
was an
months.
Airbnb, that would be impressive.
That would be even more
That would be
impressive,
expensive. That
bro.
would be more expensive than rent,
More
more than a
expensive,
mortgage.
more than a mortgage. Exactly. So it's like, bro, even if you see people renting Ferraris, bro, it's very expensive to rent a
Yeah,
Ferrari.
that's
It's like
true.
$3,000 a fucking day
Yeah.
sometimes. So it's like that's somebody's monthly rent. So like, just think a little harder before you just say things. But we're here to help you guys. We're not here to bully you. We're here to help you. But sometimes tough love needs to happen for you to make a choice to get out of the position you're at to get to where you want to go. I know we're coming up on 30 minutes. Any last words?
Sounds good to me. Appreciate you for having me, Cam.
Talk soon.